Good morning, class. We are going to study about a new chapter which is sexual reproduction, okay, of class 10th. So, today's topic is very interesting. So, before going to this topic, let me ask you a question. What is sexual reproduction? Okay, students, tell me about this. So, your answer will be sexual reproduction. Both male and female germ cells are responsible for the production of new individual, isn't it? Then a question will come, what are those germ cells are called? Isn't it? Then the answer will be male and female gametes. Okay, students, what will be it called as sexual reproduction, in which male and female both are required. And now see, after this is for humans, okay, but in plants also. This is a plant and we have studied about this in the 8th class. See, have you seen this is the female part, G, okay, GHI, okay, this all total D is the female part and this C is the male part. And we know about this B and A. This is normally sepals and petals. So you all have to label these things. Okay, what are the reproductive parts? So first are the reproductive part is ovary, okay, and the second one is this stamen. So see, this different things are there. So in this, let's see what are different things. So this is known as stigma. Female reproductive part is known as stigma or pistil. Okay, in this also, this is G1 is stigma, and then H1 is style, and I1 is ovary, and this one E is, this total is known as stamen, and this is, okay, in the upper part there is anther. Okay, students, so this is the overall part. Now see, this stamen, this is made up of anther and filament, and this carpel, or we can call it as pistil, is known as, the first is made up of stigma, style and ovary, and inside ovary there is ovule. And see, this is petals and sepals. So these all are reproductive part of flower. And see, in this also, this is male reproductive part is stamen. Stamen is divided into two parts. Again I am telling you, anther and filament. Okay, anther and filament. And in the anther part, see, you are able to see this round structures. This is pollen grains. These are present in this anther. Okay, this is very important, this anther part, and it will release some pollen grains and it will just go through some medium and stick to the female reproductive part. And let's see the female reproductive part in detail. So this is female reproductive part. In this, it is divided into three parts: stigma, style and ovary. And in ovary there is ovules where the fertilization takes place. Okay, this carpel is known as pistils also. Okay, this pistil and carpel are not different terms. This both are same terms, but in different books it can be written differently. Carpel and pistil are same, so don't get confused. So the question comes, what are the flowers called if they contain only stamen or pistil? Okay, students, are you getting this? You can answer this question in the which part you all know, comment section. Okay, students, before this question, let me first summarize in detail what is this reproductive parts. Okay, so stamen is the male reproductive part and it produced pollen grain that are yellowish in color, and you must have seen this yellowish powder that often stick to our hands. Okay, our hands when we touch the stamen of the flower. So pistil is present in the center of the flower and is the female reproductive part of the flower. If it is made of three parts, and now that female part is made up of three parts, remember this, and the swollen bottom part is known as ovary, middle one is elongated part, it is known as style, and the terminal part it may be sticky and that is known as stigma. And the ovary contains ovules and each ovule has an egg cell. Okay students, now you have to answer this question: what are the flowers called if they contain only stamen or pistil? Okay, this is then known as unisexual flower. And what are they called if they contain both stamen and pistil? Yes student, what will be they called? They will be called as bisexual flower. Okay, so everyone will be correct. I think everyone should write the right answer in the comment section. Now let's see like unisexual flower. So in unisexual flower, either it will be having this pistil, or it will be having simple anther. Okay, and see this pistil part, this is containing the stigma, style and ovary, and the anther will be having that stamen will be having anther and filament. And now bisexual flower, it will be having both. The examples are hibiscus and mustard, and the pollination will be occurring very fast. It will be between in the same flower. Okay, it can be in the different flower also, it can be in the same flower also, because it is bisexual in nature. The same pollen grain of the same flower may go stick in the stigma and the fertilization can take place over there. Okay students, everyone is clear till now? Let's go further. The flower of the hibiscus plant is bisexual or unisexual? So it is bisexual in nature. Okay, so now a question is there: what is fertilization? Okay students, so what is fertilization? Anyone know about this? So fusion of male and female gamete is known as fertilization. So male and female gametes fuse in the flowering plants. Yes students, now let's see what is fertilization with a diagram. So are you able to see this? So male is known as sperm, female is known as egg. So these are the cells, they will fuse together and form a zygote, and this is known as fertilization. Okay, and there is a video now, and the link of this video is given in the description. Go watch there and come back again to this video, and we will be continuing till from there. And let me refine that what is in that video. So in that video you will be able to see the flowering plants, and for that male and female gametes will fuse and through the pollination. It can be of two types: self pollination and cross pollination. So students, now in the video you will be able to see these things. Now we are going to study about sexual reproduction in flowering plants. Okay students, how this reproduction is taking place in this flowering plants. See, now we know about this anther, filament, okay, which is known as stamen, the male part, then stigma, style and ovary, which is known as pistil, the female part. So how is this pollination taking place? So see, this is the cross pollination shown over here, from one flower to another flower. So from this pollen grain is coming from this anther, and it is taken by this pollinator, which is honeybee, and it is going on the stigma of another flower, and the pollen grain attached to its feet, legs are coming out and sticking towards the stigma, and it will simultaneously go into the ovary and it will start fertilizing in the ovule part of the female. This is cross pollination. If it will be going from same flower, this, see, it will be going from like this to this, it will be called as self pollination. So what happened, let's see what is self pollination. So in the diagram also you can see this, the pollen grains coming from the anther, okay, of the same flower to the stigma, the female part of the same flower, is known as self pollination. And cross pollination, just now we saw that it is in different flowers, stamen and pistil is present in both, or it can travel from one to another or vice versa. So there are some pollination agents, there are some abiotic factors also, there are some biotic factors also. So abiotic factors are like wind and water, biotic factors are like birds, insect, bat, it can be humans also. So now see, this is the part of the ovary, okay, ovary part, the female part. So what happened in the starting, there is an pollen grain attached to this stigma, and from that a tubule will be start growing, that is known as pollen tube. And from that pollen tube the male germ cell will be going on to the ovule, okay, and in the ovule there are female germ cells and they will fuse together in the ovary inside the ovule, and the zygote formation will be taking place over there. Okay students, so from the starting till now, let's know what I have told you. Okay, so from the starting, male germ cells produced by pollen grain fuse with the female gamete present in the ovule. This fusion of the germ cell or fertilization gives us the zygote, which is capable of growing into a new plant. Thus the pollen needs to be transferred from stamen to the stigma. If the transfer of pollen occurs in the same flower, it is referred to as self-pollination. On the other hand, if the pollination transfer is from one flower to another, okay, one flower to the another, it will be known as cross-pollination. And see, now after the pollen lands on a suitable stigma, it has to reach the female germ cells which are in ovary. For this, a tube grows out of the pollen grain and travels through the style to reach the ovary. Now there is a very interesting question for you all. Can self-pollination and cross-pollination be related with unisexual or bisexual flower? Yes, it can be related to the this both type of pollination with respect to unisexual and bisexual flower. And how it is happening, you have to think of this and write down this in your comment box. Okay students, we will be moving further. So the transfer of pollen from another anther to stigma is called as, what it is called as, pollination. Okay students, this is called as pollination. So what is the difference between self pollination and cross pollination? The difference between the self and cross is that in self the same flower is getting pollinated, and in the cross pollination two different flowers are there in the cross pollination. So what happens after fertilization? Anyone know about this? So let's see what happens after the fertilization. So after the fertilization, we know the zygote is formation. After zygote, see, are you able to see something? So how is a fruit formed then? Okay, zygote, we know zygote is formed, then how is the fruit formed? Okay, so for this there is a video and the link of this video is in description. You have to go and watch again, okay, and come back here. Until then I will tell you what will you be able to see in that video. You will be able to see that male and female gametes fuse with each other to form zygote, which further divided and forms a fruit. Okay students, and this process is known as germination. Okay students, you will be studying about now germination, how it is happening. Till now I have explained you how this traveling of this male gamete to the female gamete and the formation of the zygote is taking place in the ovary. And now zygote has taken place. Okay, now this is becoming an embryo. Now after becoming an embryo, it is developing into the fruit. Now the fruit, the seed is containing, the seed is inside the fruit. Okay, now this seed will be taken out and it can contain the future plant or embryo which develops into seedling under appropriate. This process is known as germination. When the seed is getting germinated, this process is known as germination. And what happens when gram or moong is soaked in water? Anyone know about this? So something is coming out of this chana or this moong. Okay, gram or moong. Okay, that is radical. You will be learning in the higher classes also. So this is sprouted chana and sprouted moong. See, like cotyledon. See, radical comes out. This is cotyledon, two cotyledons, and from center the radical is coming out, and that white part you just saw, that is radical. Okay, and plumule, that is future shoot, which will be turning out to be what? It will be turning out to be stem like this, or radical will become roots, and food is stored in the cotyledon part. Now you all have to label this diagram. So in the first, the male gamete is there. This is stigma, then it is male germ cells, then it is pollen tube, then this is ovary. Yes, and this is fusion is taking place over here. Okay students, now this is the recap. We studied about what? Different reproductive organs of flowering plants. In that we talked about this pistil, or we can say carpel, the female reproductive part, and the anther and the filament, which is the part of stamen and which is male reproductive part. Okay student, now I will be concluding by giving you some homework. You have to do this homework. So first question is, how is the process of pollination different from fertilization? The second one is, what are the different stages of sexual reproduction in flowering plants present in a form of cycle? Okay, you have to present this in a form of cycle. You have to do this, and there is a very interesting activity for you all. Okay, you have to do at your home. Soak a few seeds of Bengal gram, means chana, and keep them overnight. Drain the excess water and cover the seeds with a wet cloth and leave them for a day. Make sure that the seed do not become dry. Now you have to cut open the seed carefully and observe the different parts. Okay, you have to cut the seed when it is soaked. Okay, then after you cut, you have to see the different parts of the seed and you have to write your observation, what you have seen. I will be asking you in the next class. So thank you students, we will be meeting in the next class with a very interesting and new topic. So thank you for now.